some of them would have been nice to hold on to, but again, I think you just have to be kind of ruthless about it and get yourself to a place where you just have to, work in the best interest of the movie, and you can't indulge yourself, even with scenes that were in the book and work and are, well acted, but it starts to repeat itself and kind of, stop the flow, then you just, we had to make the decision not to use them. So, there are, and it came up last night, there were so many kids that were big fans of the book, had read it a couple times, and, missed something here and there. But, I guess time is a factor, but it's not just, this movie's pretty long, actually. So we couldn't have made it even longer, and you just want to, hold the attention and keep the momentum going.
Yeah, I just like where was the movie being shot for the most part? And then I wonder also, so you make the decision to shoot in regular film. And I wonder what that, it might be silly, but what that means for the editing process. How, does that mean you clipping the film to edit it and
Yeah,
putting it together?
well, first of all, we shot it all in North Carolina, but the kind of the most important thing was the arena, finding a place that had mountains and had, the right geography. So since so much of the movie took place in that world, that was really what drove the decision of where to shoot. Then the capital stuff we did on kind of makeshift stages that were abandoned warehouses that we also found in North Carolina. But that you could probably do anywhere. You build something in a warehouse. But the arena, all the forest stuff, the seam, all District 12, District 11, those were all locations, mostly in central and western North Carolina, around Asheville, and it's beautiful. It kind of reminded me of Vermont a lot. As far as the film and then how that impacts the editing, even when you shoot on film, nobody cuts on film anymore. So you shoot it on film, you send it to the lab, they process the negative, and then they scan that negative and digitize it so that it's in the computer, and your Avid or your Pro Tools or your whatever program you're cutting on.
Did you guys cut on that? Use Avid?
Yeah. So that was, the editors are totally, digital now. There's no film editing anymore. I think Spielberg was the last holdout. Michael Kahn, his editor, they used to, until pretty recently, still cut on film. But yeah, that's not an issue anymore. But then you go back to film later, after you have your final cut, and you do, spit out a negative again.
I was watching an interview with Jennifer Lawrence, and she said that she was hesitant about taking on the role of Katniss because of how many years, how much you devote into taking the character, like Harry Potter, for example. It's not so long. And so I guess my question for you is, you said that you usually devote 2 years of your life to doing a film, and this is now going to go on for a few more years. So were you hesitant about taking on producing the film, knowing that you have 2 more years ahead?
I don't think I have the answer yet to that. Unlike the cast, the director and I don't have to do the next one. And, it's a big decision because you've created this thing, and we did the casting and we set the look, and it's really successful. And why walk away? The next one will be easy. You don't even have to cast. You don't have to do the look, because there you just kind of take the money and make the movie, and sounds like something that most people would say, okay, I'm down for that. But, you know, we've got to figure out whether there's still be a challenge in it and a contribution to make, and not just be babysitting something that isn't going to, you know, require a whole lot of attention. I think there's still a big challenge in getting the next one right. And we're going to talk about, you know, whether we want to do that or not. But the cast has to.
Are they contractually obligated?
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
Was there a competition between directors or producers in directing the Hunger Games, or how did you guys go about being like, no, this is our movie, this is our project?
Well, we were pretty aggressive about it. There were other directors who started to hear about it, and they wanted to, you know, be interviewed and come in. But again, my friend and partner, collaborator, the director, Gary Ross, like I said, he and I had worked together on Pleasantville, and we had a few other scripts that we've been working on that he's written that we were thinking about doing. And he actually found the book through his kids. He has 16-year-old twins. And they told him about the book. He read the book, he loved it, called me up and said, we have to go after this and try to, you know, get it for ourselves. And there were some other directors who the studio was starting to talk to, and he just went in there and was very well prepared. He shot a little short film, he interviewed, you know, his kids and some other kids, and he just went into the studio for his interview and was really impressive. You know, he was really well prepared, very well spoken on how to do it, had the confidence, and knew what he wanted. And, you know, there were other bigger name directors who were being considered. But again, he did his homework, and he, you know, brought it to, you know, the studio and just he won it. So that was how it happened.
When you found it at that point, and when Gary found it, was it the script then, or was it just the novel?
It was just the novel, and the studio had somebody else working on a script that was not the Battle Royale version, but it was a different version than what we have, a little more action, a little, you know, a little less of the intimacy and character-driven story that we ended up telling. It was good, but it wasn't, you know, in the same place that we ended up. And Gary brought that, you know, his movies like Big and Pleasantville and Dave and Seabiscuit are also, you know, just much more character-driven than they are action-driven. And he was really good in terms of adapting and getting that into the screenplay.
Dee and Jake and... Oh, Tom, you haven't asked, go ahead.
I was just going to ask him, for the character versus acting, do you think that's why John Carter did so badly?
Oh, boy. You know, John Carter, there's so many things that you have to get right, you know, from the way, obviously, the script and the cast and how you make it. But also, there was something about how they just missed it in the marketing and the title even, and, you know, that it just got off to a really bad start and they could never recover. Did anybody see it? Yeah. Is it that bad?
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
It's just like it got a little confusing at the end. Like they didn't know like how they wanted to end. Or, like, I don't know if they knew, but it was just like I was kind of confused.
Yeah.
How they were gonna end it. It wasn't. I don't think it was as historically bad.
Yeah.
It was just.
Yeah, but you gotta get the ending right. You gotta, you know, we were talking about the ending of this all the time, how you don't end it correctly. People just, you know, that you could miss by a little bit, and that's the difference between success and failure. And if we had fallen apart at the end, we were really nervous, and that fear is a great motivator, and it keeps you working until you get it right. And if you're able to look at it honestly and see, hey, this isn't working at the end, we got to go back and make sure, we make the changes and do the work that is going to make it successful. And then the marketing of that movie was also, it's now like a well-known story that they just really were all over the place and didn't know how to position it or the materials were all wrong, what the images were, and even the title cutting Mars, just people didn't know what to make of it. Yeah.
It was like kind of cartoonish. Like I didn't think, based on the marketing, I didn't think it was going to be like that cartoonish.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is a Disney movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's what is the, link to, that's what sets it up. I mean, all these people were waiting online to see Hunger Games. Why was everybody anxious to see? Nobody had seen the movie. They didn't know if it was going to be good or bad. The trailer was out. But it was really all the other, the commercials, the images, the way that it was sold. The movie has to live up to that. But the way this company positioned the film and sold the film and created the materials and the images and the posters and all that for our film were, they just knocked it out of the park. Everything they got right. The whole campaign of the countdown, 100 days to go, the way that the first trailer gave you that kind of taste but didn't give too much away, and again, the countdown used in the trailer, all these things built all this anticipation. People wanted to see the movie, but nobody had seen the movie. They said, why was John Carter something nobody had seen and everybody was talking about how bad it is? And why was our movie, nobody had seen it and everybody's talking about how good it is? So, the setup, the marketing of it is really important as well. And, that's the interesting thing about this business. It's not just being an actress or a director. There are thousands of jobs out there in, marketing and publicity and distribution. There's a lot of business type positions and all kinds of things that go into it that once we finish the film go into other people's hands and they've got to deliver. And a lot of people are involved in that.
Last two questions.
You said something about you were working on other scripts before you got to the games, and then you started to work on that. But what is work? Starting to do work. What do you focus on when you first get a script? Or is it casting? Is it the
not
location?
really. It's even the way before that. It's just Gary's a writer. He had some ideas. He's written 2 or 3 other things that haven't been published or produced, and he would send them to me. What do you think? And we talk about it. Who would we want to be in it, or think that it's worth